three networks to fledgling cable news networks, it was much easier to stifle the real news. Women like Juanita Broderick could be muzzled, and their story would never be widely told. But by 2016, we had a robust, vibrant alternative media, of which InfoWars was the flagship. And therefore, the truth about Hillary Clinton's abuse of Bill Clinton's sexual assault victims became common knowledge. My book, The Clintons' War on Women, which is available right now at the Infowars.com store, is the definitive opposition research dump on the criminal career of Bill and Hillary Clinton and their greedy little daughter, or I should say, her greedy little daughter, Chelsea. Then, even my mind was blown by this interview by Hillary that was hit the waves this morning. Let's roll that.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength.
Well, there you have it. It is a license for violence. It's a declaration of war. It's one of the most irresponsible things I've ever seen anyone in politics do. But perhaps Hillary is just warming up for her coming tour. That's right. The Clintons, Bill and Hillary, are going on tour with tickets going for as much as $700 apiece. It's amazing that these people hope to cash in. Let's take a look at that actual schedule. The date that comes to the most interest for me is October 23rd. October 23rd, we will be having the Rally for Civility, the rally against Hillary on the very day that she comes to Florida. That's at Galuppi's Restaurant right here in Pompano Beach, October 23rd. You can go to eventbrite.com for tickets. I will be headlining that rally. On the other end of the state, Hillary Clinton will be in town to help sink the Democratic ticket of Andrew Gillum for governor and the comatose Bill Nelson for the U.S. Senate. I can understand why the Gillum and Nelson forces would want Barack Obama to visit Florida, but Hillary Clinton's visiting this state where, based on every poll, she's underwater with a net unfavorable really begs the question. But if you look at the actual schedule, this today is a call to action. I think it is incumbent on patriots to come out and greet Bill and Hillary Clinton. Notice that she will be on November 18th in Las Vegas, Nevada, on December 4th in Sugar Land, Texas, on April 11th at the Beacon Theater in New York City, on April 12th at the Fox Theater in Detroit, on April 13th in Philadelphia, on April 26th in Wallingford, Connecticut, my native state, on April 27th in Washington, D.C., on April 30th, Boston, Massachusetts, and so on. May 3rd, Seattle, Washington. May 4th, Inglewood, California. Now, you can go to the Infowars.com store now, where we are back ordered on our epic, iconic Clinton rape t-shirts. We're going to struggle to get the iconic Bill Clinton rape whistles back in circulation. We sold out of them, folks, in November of 2016. You're going to need both of these for your peaceful, entirely peaceful protest of the Clintons' raping of the political system. $700 to listen to Hillary Clinton make excuses about why she lost the election. She's blamed Bernie Sanders. She's blamed the Democratic Party. She's blamed men who told their wives how to vote. She's blamed everyone but the obvious victim. That would be Hillary Clinton herself. You see, they thought they could hide their lurid past. But with InfoWars as the flagship and a robust alternative conservative media, the Breitbarts, the Daily Callers, the Gateway Pundit, Town Hall, and so on, it's impossible to suppress the truth. And the Clintons, I think, have made yet another step. Now, many people ask me, as I go out on the speaking stump, whether Hillary is going to run again in 2020. Run? The woman can barely walk. When she collapsed in 70-degree heat in New York City, it was shortly after she put out a press release accusing Alex Jones and Roger Stone of making up lies about her health. This doesn't explain why her head snapped around like a demon, why she has multiple coughing fits, why even Bill Clinton admitted in a CBS interview, later edited, that she collapses constantly. I don't think she has the physical fortitude or the stamina for another presidential campaign, but we can hope. To win the Democratic nomination, she'll have to steal it again because the Democrats recognize that the Clintons' days are over. But she may be able to command enough money and enough allegiance among the fanatics to be nominated yet again. We can only hope. If Hillary Clinton is the nominee of the Democratic Party, Donald Trump will beat her like a drum. You're on the Alex Jones Show, and I do need to point out to you yet again that the precursor for an attempt to remove our president, the precursor for a Hillary Clinton candidacy, a revenge candidacy, is the silencing of InfoWars. There's no question about it, folks. Number one in the globalist game plan is to shut Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer and David Knight and Roger Stone and Rob Dew and Millie Weaver and so many others who bring you the tough investigative reporting here at InfoWars down. You say they need to silence us. That's why we need your support right now. Please go to the Infowars.com store. If you are not in the market for one of our great nutraceuticals, if you're not looking for a book or a t-shirt or any other of our great products, well, then you can still help the war for freedom. Go to the donate button. We'll show you where it is. And send your contribution today for $100, $75, $50, $25. Yes, some InfoWarriors have sent as much as $1,000. They know when you contribute to InfoWars, it doesn't go in Alex Jones's pocket. It goes right back into the InfoWars network to expand our new studios, to hire new people, and to fight the outrageous harassment lawsuits that are meant to smear us as a provocation for removing us from social media. I'm Roger Stone. We're on the Alex Jones Show, and we're just getting started.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
Imagine a Hollywood movie where a guy 12 years ago is running a tanning salon in a little town in England and sees 10, 12, 13-year-old girls crying for mommy being put in cars. And then he talks to the fathers and mothers. They go, yeah, the police won't help us. Our daughters are sold to sex slavery. And then it comes out 9, 10 years after he talks about it, it's happening in every town. And in many areas, the police are involved, and the government, and then the Asian men organizing, the Muslim men organizing the girls for sex. You got the white guys coming in, others having sex with them. This is the known pedophilia of the UK. It's just the religion of the elite over there. And so they tried to mentally destroy him. And Tommy, just wherever you want to take this interview, you're in control now.
So basically, these gangs were operating freely for 30 years. And our country witnessed a conspiracy of silence from police leaders, community leaders, religious leaders to facilitate this rape. And what's come out in the reports is the reason why the police didn't act, the reason why social services, the organisations put in to protect children, the reason why they actually allowed, when you read the reports, they allowed gangs of men, Muslim men, to come and pick the children up from care homes, sit outside in their car, picking 12-year-old children up, take them away for 3 or 4 days, and drop them back in a disheveled state. And no one fought justice, or no one fought to do something. Anyone in a position of power who tried to whistleblow and identify these problems was quickly sidelined, fired, and targeted. So the level of rape the level of abuse. This isn't just sexual gratification for the men doing it. They are literally doing everything they can to destroy the victim, to torture the victim. They are, and this has gone on, I think there's, in every single town and city in the UK that has an Islamic community, there are these rape squads. And the word used in Britain is grooming, which sounds like something cute, doesn't it? Grooming. Well, you're grooming your dog. This is actually a rape jihad by an invading army. Now, what these men do to some of these victims, if I just talk to you about some of the cities. In one of the cities in the north of England, they took a young 12-year-old girl and they stuck a claw, when they got her pregnant through repeated rapes, they took her to a field and they put a claw hammer up inside her to give her an abortion. They have taken young girls and put their tongues on tables and put nails through them. They have branded young 11-year-old children where they've heated up iron rods with the letter M and they've scalded it on their bum because that 11-year-old girl was the property of Mohammed. Now, during all of this, families whose children have become victims have gone to the police, they've gone to the authorities, they've cried and they've begged for help. Rather than getting help, now these stories, when you read them, finally, when we first started talking about this a decade ago, we were branded as extremists and racist, and people simply did not want to believe it. Now we have government reports and government investigations that show and expose the truth in all of this. We've had young fathers. 2 of their daughters are in a house with a dozen Muslim men. Their daughters are 12 and 13 years old. The fathers have got together and they've gone to get their girls back. The police have turned up. They arrested the dads. They leave the girls.
This isn't Netflix. It isn't movies. This is a real hero. This is a guy they tried to kill. This is a guy tortured in prison repeatedly. This is a guy that lost his house, his wife and children facing acid attack. This is a real man right here.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
My fellow Americans, let me make this perfectly clear. You're listening to Roger Stone on InfoWars.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Roger Stone, back in the saddle at the Alex Jones Show. Some of you may remember that an Obama-backed group called the Project for Democracy sued me and others in Washington, D.C., claiming, stop me if you've heard this, the Russians hacked the DNC, gave the allegedly hacked emails to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks gave them to Julian Assange. Julian Assange gave them to Roger Stone. And Roger Stone gave them to Donald Trump, or the Trump campaign. Fiction, a fairy tale, a claim for which there is no evidence whatsoever. Not in the hands of Robert Mueller, not in the hands of the lawyers for the DNC. When pressed in that lawsuit for evidence, they turned over fake news clippings from the Huffington Post and other fake news outlets as if that sufficed as evidence. Well, that lawsuit was dismissed. Now, Project Democracy has refiled that suit on behalf of 3 DNC employees in Richmond, Virginia, a different venue. And The Atlantic has now reported that the Trump campaign has responded in those legal proceedings by saying that exploiting hacked emails is free speech. What they don't tell you is that the Project Democracy dropped Roger Stone from that lawsuit, that I am not a defendant in the new suit, and the exploiting of published material that's already online is certainly within the public domain. Here is my prediction. The 3 employees of the DNC will lose again. Now, in other legal matters, the Democratic National Committee is proceeding with their lawsuit, this one filed in New York City, against me, against the Trump campaign, against the Republican National Committee, against the Russian state, against Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, against Donald Trump Jr., the president's son, against the Republican National Committee, against the GRU, against Vladimir Putin, against Julian Assange, against WikiLeaks. I don't know, I think they threw Bozo the Clown in there as well. This is another baseless lawsuit, but strangely enough, of all those defendants, only the lawyers that represent me, the same incredibly effective lawyers who won dismissal of the Project Democracy suit, Grant Smith and Rob Bushell, had the brains to ask for discovery and inspection of the DNC computer servers. This, of course, will lead to answering the $64 million question about whether the DNC was ever hacked by the Russians or anyone else. Although Chris Cuomo seemed rather incredulous when I said this on his show, the forensic evidence published in the New Republic it tends to indicate the exact opposite. In fact, there is more forensic evidence that would indicate that the purloined material from the DNC was downloaded to some type of portable drive and spirited out the back door by the name we're not allowed to say, Seth Rich, a man whose murder continues to be unsolved. For those who say, oh, he was murdered in the course of a routine robbery, explain why his money, his wallet, and his jewelry were all intact. No, this was a political assassination by parties unknown. You see, they don't want an inspection of those servers because it will finally reveal whether they were hacked or not. In fact, don't be shocked to learn when we get to this turn in the legal proceedings that the servers no longer exist, that they've been bleached, kind of like Hillary Clinton's email server was bleached. She even joked about it. This is the same evil witch who joked about hitting Julian Assange with a drone strike in order to kill him, except for it wasn't a joke. The reason that Assange, who is nothing but a crusading journalist who operates in the great American tradition of journalism, finding information that is of public value, certifying its accuracy and authenticity, and publishing it, like the Washington Post and the Pentagon Papers, for example. But some in the media and on the left have sought to criminalize the activities of Assange and WikiLeaks. I'm not sure what his crime would be, yet they speak of extraditing him to the United States. Would somebody please straighten Jeff Sessions out about this? Well, first you better wake him up. Then you can straighten him out. If he goes into an immediate tirade about arresting people for using medicinal marijuana, don't be shocked. If he tries to talk to you about asset forfeiture before you've been convicted of any crime, well, that's our Jeff Sessions, the comatose Attorney General of the United States. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, a giant controversy growing over the avoidance of testimony by Rod Rosenstein. You remember him. He's the guy that the New York Times reported only days ago was supposedly proposed wearing a wire in order to entrap the President of the United States in order to remove him under the 25th Amendment. According to the New York Times, multiple sources confirmed that Rosenstein was not kidding and that he was deadly serious. But that didn't stop NBC from reporting that it was all a joke. But it wasn't a joke. Then shrewder heads like Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, and others suggested that perhaps the president should not fire Mr. Rosenstein ahead of the coming election. In retrospect, I have to agree with that. But the question of Mr. Rosenstein's conflicts of interest, his prior relationship with Robert Mueller and James Comey. And the fact that the recommendation to the president that Comey be fired is one of the matters under investigation by Mueller himself poses an existential conflict of interest that has yet been to be presented to the American courts. Rosenstein has bought himself time. And on the other side, we're going to talk about how that might play out in front of the U.S. Supreme Court before it's all over. In the meantime, every poll I have seen points to a resurgent Republican Party. And in the wake of the character assassination lynching of Judge Brett Kavanaugh, Republicans are awake and energized. Talk by Congressman Jerry Nadler and Senator Hirono about impeaching Kavanaugh just eggs our people on and torques up our intensity. I'll be right back.
Your season has come to an end. A new season is here. Because we know humanity faces big challenges soon. We have to get ready for those. We have to get ready to make the jump. The time of this solar system is coming to an end. Everything counts down. Everything's been laid out. You've got maybe 100 years to make the jump. But evil resonates with these low-level people to try to freeze us here and keep us here, delay us here. It's not happening. You will not stop the progress. Our ancestors, in their purity, about purity, I mean not pious purity, but genetic purity, in the raw, primordial system they came from, their will has a dimensional weight that punches through anything these Satanists do. We just have to call upon it. And to these fallen individuals, the will of humanity is a very frightening thing. It is frightening. It's the fear of God. God fashioned us, made us in his image, knew us before we were in our mother's womb. God created these enemies to test his people. Once you step past them, all of eternity is before you, and it's all a giant loop. You're like the past, the present, the future, all of it. You're like, it's not just the past, the present, the future. That's only one spectrum, third dimension. Then you can delve as deep as you want to go, and you're like, the Satanists want to serve this? Why, the secrets of Satanism take 30 seconds to know. To even look into the heights of higher dimensions in God is just, is Valhalla to the next level. And then you wonder, how could they do this? Because they were given power in this dimension. And that's what this is, a cosmic con game coming to an end. And it doesn't mean some utopia comes after this. That is not what's going to happen. It's simply the next level. We'll laugh together when we are at the next level together. We were worried about that. Look at that. Because nothing is given. Everything has to be achieved. Well, that sounds fantastical. Have you looked where you are? You're at the way station. You're at the lily pad, the big pond. And out beyond is the mountains and the sky. The universe, it's endless, the potential God's given you. But it's free will. But it's very freeing once you have stared over the misty mountains. Once you have seen the potential and know there's really good in the universe, not just evil. It's a great comfort to know no matter what happens to these little frail bodies, these ugly things, that there's a bigger plan. Once you get it, you're like, oh my God, this demon